It's time for Raw is Halloween 2016. Alright, what do you guys think about the show? Pretty decent, in my opinion.
Um, it like I said, it didn't drag on like Raw usually does. Raw went pretty quick, which usually means it actually was pretty decent.
Yeah, and it was the aftermath of the pay per view, and it was a gimmicky show also, so it served its purpose. And I think, SmackDown will definitely be more serious, fingers crossed, tomorrow. But we'll have to see. Anyways, for Raw tonight, we kicked off pretty big with Paul Heyman confronting Goldberg, and teased the whole Brock's gonna come out. Let's get into this. And this is where me and Lenny are already gonna butt heads on this. I can tell.
Okay.
But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But the show kicked off with Goldberg getting into it with Paul Heyman, and then Paul Heyman plays Brock's music, and he's like, "Ha ha! You thought Brock Lesnar was come out? Well, he isn't." And then Rusev comes out, and Rusev says, "You look at you, Goldberg. You're a shell of what you used to be." And you get that moment of like Mr. Krabs without his shell. He's just very old.
Mr. Krabs without a shell.
Yeah, and it's just this feeling of Rusev saying, "You're old. You can't even do a jackhammer." And then what happens next? He does the jackhammer in the most astonishing way possible, and then he spears Paul Heyman, which was actually pretty good. The spear was much better than him trying to lift, of all people, Rusev up. But a bit sad for Rusev because he kind of got squashed there, just straight up. And then people will be like, "Oh, he worked with Goldberg." I don't count 5 seconds a squash. That's like when Rusev, quote unquote, worked with The Rock, or as we were talking about earlier, when The Rock, quote unquote, worked with Eric Rowan. Remember? So, I mean, I wouldn't really count it as anything good for Rusev. I mean, he just lost a pay-per-view match, but he put on probably the match of the night. Then for this to happen the next night and this be the end of him throughout the entire show was a bit sad. But, it showed that Goldberg can at least still lift up people and spear Heyman like he killed him. So
It was the best spear of the night.
It was. So, what do you guys think about that opening scene?
It definitely, because you want to see Goldberg do physical things before he gets in the ring. You don't want to just hear him talk. You want to see him do his, because he was always a man of his actions. He never really talked in WCW, and even when he came to the WWE, he was a man of action. You want to see him do those actions before he steps in the ring with a guy who the last time, well, yeah, basically one of the last times we saw him step in a ring, he pummeled a guy till the guy was bleeding like a fountain.
He was a man with a plan.
Yeah,
Going through
he
my
has
mind.
plans to kill people.
Yeah, that would definitely be very interesting. That would probably be what closes out Survivor Series. So, on to our next matchup here tonight was the Halloween Trick or Street fight. Man, and it was a one-on-one. It was just Enzo Amore taking on, of all people, Luke Gallows. Think about that for a second. The big guy, Luke Gallows, took the loss tonight to Enzo Amore. That is
In a Trick or Street fight.
That is just. I don't believe they should have won. I don't believe Enzo should have got the win. Because if you give. I mean, it's a gimmicky match, so I could see that. But at the same time, it's still a street fight. So it's. I don't know. It's very degrading for Luke Gallows, especially like they just got a
Enzo's
pay
probably
per view.
entitled to at least one singles television win.
Yeah, but that will probably be the highlight of Enzo's career in 2016. So we'll be beating the heck out of Luke Gallows in a trick or treat fight, but fairly decent for being a gimmick match. I won't hold too much bias of wanting the club to win, but it was a good match. I would definitely give it that. Then Mick Foley comes out and he addresses the situation of what happened last night with the best friends forever, which is Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho screwing over Seth Rollins, and then for some reason Roman Reigns decides to come out because Mick Foley is like, well, Jericho, you're getting old. You weren't our first choice. The guy was our first choice over you. And then out came Roman Reigns. Donut, 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 donut. Yeah, he comes out, and there's this bit of a standoff moment where Jericho and Kevin Owens are like, well, Jericho can beat you any day of the week. And then Jericho's like, I can beat you right now if I wanted to and make that title a Canadian championship. It's going to be the main event. There's that. So we'll get to that in a minute. Let's talk about the two cruiserweight matches real quick. First one was Lince Dorado, Rich Swann, and Cedric Alexander taking on the team of Drew Gulak, Ariya Daivari, and Tony Nese, who did not get an entrance. They got a dark entrance, sadly. So there was that. Bad guys lost again. So the only real bad guy that matters in the cruiserweight division is Brian Kendrick. And from Brian Kendrick getting himself counted out on purpose against TJ Perkins, it kind of looks like that might be heading out of the door with them maybe doing something with, we're guessing, Rich Swann. So I don't know, it's a bit tricky. What do you guys think about that? Do you think Rich Swann will be the next guy, or Cedric Alexander, TJ Perkins?
Rich Swann, like I told you, whenever it happened that way, it's gonna be Rich Swann.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they because the thing is I don't understand why they would even have Kendrick win the title if Perkins wasn't moving out of the title picture.
Yeah, and it's still the fact that I don't think Perkins should have lost the belt this fast, being the first champion. I mean, it's kind of weird because it's also that Finn Balor effect of he's the champ, and then we have a new champ. So it's a bit sad because you could tell Balor is probably gonna have a long reign. Hopefully, Brian Kendrick has a longer reign than TJP as a heel for the cruiserweights. So this will be interesting. Side note, I believe they changed the color of the strap from purple to blue, and Brian Kendrick now wears a purple instead of a blue jacket. So I don't know what was going on there, but that happened. So
Pointless stuff.
Next up was a put over Braun Strowman Battle Royale, where Braun Strowman beat up everybody to get his spot in the Survivor Series match. And then we had Nia Jax taking on Bayley after she confronted the queen of the women's division of Monday Night Raw, Charlotte. And, well, Nia Jax beat Bayley. And it was a bit of a slow match. Very, 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 very slow paced, sadly.
It was announced that all three are going to be part of the women's team for.
Yeah. So it's very stacked in the favors of Raw. Raw has a very stacked Survivor Series team right now, from tag teams, everything.
I think Nia could take on all 5 members of Team SmackDown and beat them.
Yeah, Lenny, you want to talk about what we saw with the New Day tonight? No?
Leonard?
Okay. He's MIA.
I can talk about it.
Talk about it.
Okay, so we had the New Day backstage in a segment talking about last night. They obviously got the DQ victory. Well, they lost by DQ, retained their titles against the team of Sheamus and Cesaro. But tonight, obviously Halloween, night of costumes, they had a theme costume for all 3 of them. They were all gimmicks of WWE Hall of Famer Charles Wright. You may know him as either Kama Mustafa of the Nation of Domination, Papa Shango, or even the Godfather. Yes, that's right. We had Kofi was Papa Shango. or not Kofi. Xavier Woods was Papa Shango.
Mm-hmm.
You had Big E was Kama Mustafa, and Kofi was the Godfather.
It was great.
And the funniest part was I believe it might even been last night on the review
That we were talking about Big E needing that
we
extra
were talking about
push.
they need something similar to like the Nation of Domination or something similar like to that kind of concept.
To like flip it as heels and
Yeah,
make them more serious, and then like the next night they dress up as all
one of the
three
members of
members.
the Nation.
Yeah, all three different iterations of Charles Wright's career gimmicks. So there's that. Um, quick squash match with your boys Sheamus and Cesaro destroying the Shining Stars of the Caribbean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's anything else I missed.
The R-Truth and Goldust.
Yeah, there was a quick segment where they visited a haunted house. And then our main
Good
event.
comedy stuff. I really enjoy that. I usually hate comedy stuff, but it's hilarious.
Our main event was Chris Jericho taking on Roman. Roman getting the win by DQ because Kevin Owens came in, beat the snot out of Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins came in for the save, and then the show kind of ends where it's like they really should have done the Shield, Sierra.
They should have done the fist together, and then they should have done the Sierra Hotel India Lima Delta. It would have been hilarious. It would have been perfect. Like it would, and I guarantee you, as much as like because it would only have been like 30 seconds of TV time. I guarantee you that crowd would have went nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about like that. It's all about the little pop anymore. That's all you really want to. You just want to give them that moment of that just pop that just rocks the arena.
So hopefully we'll see more of Seth and Roman together. Maybe.
But potentially even on team. Because at this point it looks like Kevin Owens is also joining Team Raw.
Yeah, so
maybe
Team
on Team
Raw.
Raw.
It looks like Team Raw is probably going to be Seth, Roman, Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, and Braun Strowman. That's a great Team Raw, if you ask me. But it's very 4 main eventers, 1 dominant mid-card guy. So it's gonna be awkward to see what the heck SmackDown is gonna come up with. I don't want to.
Well, because the thing is, John Cena will not be part of it.
I don't want to say this.
John Cena's.
But guess who would probably good money on is gonna be a part of Team SmackDown.
Oh boy,
it's James Ellsworth. Were you thinking the same thing? I thought you were about to swerve me for a second and say someone else.
No, 100%, and we'll get that moment of him and Braun Strowman in the ring together.
I really hope, unless it comes to Rumble, but that'll be cool. Raw tonight. What would you give it, Mullins?
Let's go. Because I can't I don't like giving like shows unless they really wow me.
Yeah.
9 or a 10. I'll go 8.5 on it.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.5. It was decent. Good. Not really.
That's what, like I said,
building.
Like
more
I was telling Lenny
during
building. The show. Like when I was telling Lenny during the show, if a Raw really like seems to me like even with 3 hours, if it seems like it's going fast, then it's doing something right.
Yeah. So we'll see you all for Tuesday night SmackDown. Adios, everybody.
Catch you then.